Tonight, more than 24 people have lost their lives to hit-and-run drivers right here in Louisville this year, leaving their families desperate for answers and justice. Some of those families are now using their pain to push for change in a system they feel isn't working. WHAS 11 Team's Tom Lally connected families with state lawmakers to search for solutions.
We've shared their stories.
I said, tell me, what would you do if it were your child?
Families desperate for answers.
And we're reliving this every time we see it on the news.
And getting nowhere.
They simply state we don't have the staff. We cannot do this.
Because they say the laws are not strong enough.
These people are getting away with this, and they know they can get away with it.
The number of people killed in these crimes increases.
In the past year, 38 people were killed by drivers who kept going.
According to Kentucky State Police data, that's more than any previous year. That is the most deaths in the last decade.
These are increasing. They're not plateauing, they're not going down, they're increasing. So some message has to be sent.
So we brought two lawmakers, Republican State Representative Kevin Bratcher and Democratic State Senator Morgan McCarvey, to hear from families impacted by hit-and-runs.
November will be a year since our son's death.
Patricia Bishop and her mother, Pam Logsdon, lost Daniel Logsdon in November of 2020. He was hit crossing New Cut Road after work.
The man went about a half a block, pulled the car over, got out and ran.
A few days after, Janet Heston lost her son on the same road.
The only way that these people are going to stop is if they know they're going to get caught.
Nearly a year later, no arrest made.
If you don't put some effort into it, you get stuck in a pile somewhere. And I'm determined that's not going to happen to Daniel.
They say steeper penalties are part of the solution. Right now in Kentucky, if someone is convicted for a fatal hit and run, they face a Class D felony with a max of 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine.
It just seems like you can make the most stringent laws, but they're not being enforced in all areas. And I have to calm myself down because it starts making me angry.
Do you think part of the reason that this isn't being dealt with as quickly as it should is because it doesn't rise to the level of some of the other violent crimes just based on the statute?
Hit and runs are not a priority.
But there is a bill that talks about traffic monitoring and speed monitoring. You're probably familiar, via cameras.
Well, I was going to ask if you thought that would help, because right now state law prohibits the city of Louisville from having traffic cameras and stoplight cameras.
Why?
And so do you think it would help if the state law was changed so that Louisville could put in stoplight cameras?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's going to be the only way.
In the end, both lawmakers said they would help with the process, but new or stricter laws may not be the sole solution.
We have got to make the executioners of the law, the executive branch, live up to its promise. And I know they've got problems. I know that there's financial issues at all levels of this state and country. But there has got to be a way to get criminals prosecuted.
We will work with you and we will do our best to make sure that the laws are protecting people, that the funding is going to the right place, that people don't have to experience this type of pain. But on the execution side, there is only so much we can do.
Each of these cases were handled by LMPD, a department that says it is woefully understaffed, impacting their enforcement. Still, after a year of waiting, pushing, and fighting, these families leave the conversation with something new.
Now I feel like I got a little hope because I felt like I was hitting brick walls.
Though Patricia says the fight is far from over. In Louisville, Tom Lally, WHAS 11 News on your side.